Are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Live in effect. It's your man, I Make Mad Beats. I'm live from outer space and Unapologetic Studio. I'm here with the Type Beat cast and crew.
Kid Maestro, you know what it is.
Yeah. LJ one S. What's good? What's good?
Indeed. And on the types, we got, make sure we accurate.
Sheena.
Indeed. And we are Type Beat. Again, live. I don't know what today's August the 28th. So we about to drop y'all the end of August episode. Got a few topics for y'all. If you're in the chat, or if you're on whatever platform, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, if you got the link off Twitter, feel free to respond, reach out to us, let us know what you're thinking, your thoughts and responses. We got a topic. We got a few topics for today. What are we talking about?
I think starting off, and this might make me feel, be the old guy in the room type, but your process as a creative, like I'm not a fan of the drag and click era, and not necessarily. Let me be more specific. Like I have nothing against the drag and click, but I do have an issue with the producers that drag and click and like don't do anything else to the loop, to the break. Like they just whatever it is, that's what it is, and they just roll with it. That's the beat. And I keep going back to this example because I watched Mad. He was mixing a song, working on a song, and he didn't get the stems for the track for the session, and he legit went on Splice and with 2 clicks remake the beat.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
what was what's the catch? 2 clicks and it's what is it?
I can't. You talking about the
Drip
drip joint? I can't even remember, bro. I'm glad I can't remember. That means I'm healing from seeing that ad all the damn
bro,
time.
all the
You know what I'm
time.
saying?
He went crazy. Hey, salute to him for that though.
That was one of the greatest marketing campaigns of all time.
Every fucking YouTube.
Yeah.
And I think also that was the thing too. When I was on YouTube, I came across it was an ad, and it was the same thing. Like just drag and drop, and it was a advertisement for MIDI packs, and I was like, bro, this is how y'all make y'all shit now. I don't know. Like I said, it could just be I'm getting old. I don't know, but I'm not a fan. What y'all think about that?
Yeah, kid, what you thinking, bro?
Yeah, I feel the spirit of what you're saying, but
Spirit. What are we talking about? As a whole, bro. Like,
I'm on my Sheena type
here we go.
type speech. You know what I mean?
damn, here we
Some
go, bro.
poetry vibes.
Here we go. The spirit, man.
So the essence
right. The energy
of your vibe right now.
Yeah, oh, you
I feel it on my rising moon. So
Yo, wait.
You gotta pass on the mic. You gotta be able to respond to this, man. I'm not saying right now. I'm just saying if she need to respond. First off, right now she getting this. So
I just don't like. I can't even do it. I don't like the combination of your vibe with my rising moon. I don't know, bro. What you,
I'm out.
Hey man, just
what you
stay
questionable
your
statements,
Scorpio
bro?
right now. You know,
Yeah, fam.
I don't know, man.
Crazy.
just let me Libra. All right.
Just let me leave, bro.
Nah, I feel like
Yo.
Yeah,
feel
these
like-
people gonna come after us for this. We gotta take this one down.
Wait, the man said, just let me Libra. Bro. I'm stuck.
I feel like, nah, I feel you. I mean, for me, I think it's more of a, I think why I feel you so much is not necessarily, it's partly process. Like, you just can't help but like doing how you like doing things, right? So I definitely like a more hands-on approach. I feel more, there's just a connection that when you, the more you're involved, to
Right.
me, like, there's just a connection you have with whatever you made. Even if it's not hard, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you just feel, it feels a little bit more personal to me. But for me, honestly, it's really like a ego slash insecurity thing where, like, being, like, I guess because of how you feel, like just the thought of somebody feeling that way about what I made, or being able to recreate, or being able to aka expose or call me out for something like that, I feel like over time has pushed me to move away from stuff like that. But at the same time, there's been people that kind of have reopened the door for me to dismiss those thoughts and be a little bit more focused on, like, whatever is fighting to be created in that moment.
Gotcha.
So I'm not as against it as maybe I used to be, but there's still a part of me that is like, I'm not really trying to be looked at in that way. You know what I mean?
And I think it's not even, okay, so I'm not necessarily against it, but not even about being looked at. It's more so like, are you even having fun doing that, going that approach? Like, as a creative, is that fun for you? And that's my thing. Like, I love creating. And while I'm creating, I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. I'm trying new things or whatever the case may be. But, like, to legit hear something, and yeah, it could be dope, but to just drag and drop, don't do anything. Like, Mad didn't have to try to texturize the sample, nothing. It was just boom. I'm like, bro.
And again, it's like I feel you halfway, because sometimes it's the sometimes it's the process. Like it was like the process of making it is fun, but we're also like, we do this because we're fans of music, right? And so the music itself could be the enjoyment, however it got there.
Gotcha.
Just like if you
Okay.
heard a song, you don't know how it was made, but you just rock with it. Like, you enjoy listening to it. And so it wasn't that making it was some, creative, like, or you overly creative like experience, but the product just makes you feel something that you feel.
If y'all are watching this, feel free to leave a comment in the chat. Go ahead, man. My bad, go ahead.
Yeah, that you enjoy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like maybe I didn't get that that overcoming or that just sense of accomplishment, but the thing that's there, be like, yo, I just love this. You know what I mean?
I feel that. And I'm also, and I guess just talking about it right now, I'm also trying to think about it like in certain situations, because it could have been a situation where they was just starting to beat and the artist was like, bro, that's it. I fucks with that. And, that's what it is. But I don't know, man. I just couldn't find myself just.
But then I feel you, because then it's like, all right, if you leave it like that, then maybe that's something we could talk about in another episode. Is like the process of figuring out what makes your a Kid Maestro beat a Kid Maestro beat, and I make Mad Beats beat.
I think that's the same episode.
Yeah, I think we can definitely bleed into that.
Well, yeah. So like,
I think that's a part of the angst that you have. In terms of, So
So then if like the artist is like, oh, I love it like that, and you're like, wait a minute.
what'd they say? Interesting.
I love it like that. My Pisces. You know what I mean? And then you're like, wait, I didn't do like my thing to it yet.
What's going on?
You know what I'm saying? Do you try to force yourself upon this thing, or do you
I mean, that's
Let it
be what it is. I'm trying to think of me in those situations. Like, I couldn't imagine just being, even if the artist's like, yeah, okay, this is cool, because even in that aspect, I guess it depends on what rooms you're in, what's the goal, because I'm pretty sure if you in rooms with a Beyonce or something like that, and they be like, that's perfect, you might, especially if you're just trying to get in the door, you might be like, I bet. But I know as a creative, like, part of my job and part of what I do, I am an artist as well. So even if the artist like, this is it, I fucks with that. I'm like, okay, cool, bet. I'm gonna save that version, but let me do what I do.
Yeah.
And let me make some changes and stuff like that. Because even in that aspect, I feel like that also will help the engineer. Because I've had a lot of sessions where the producer is just a loop, and now I have to think and find ways to make this loop a song. So I think about it with that approach in mind as well. I don't know. Like I said, that could just be me. That could just be how I was taught and how I was brought up type shit. But that's definitely in my mind as I'm creating.
What do you say?
Yeah, I think, for me, there's just levels to this. You know what I'm saying? I've definitely had fun doing that. It just wasn't as accessible as it is now. But, when I first started making beats, when I was 14, 15, I would absolutely find a loop, whether it was from a record or from a sample library, and then just drag like a drum break underneath it and be like, oh, I got a beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would absolutely do that. Because honestly, to be quite honest, like that's how hip hop started. You know what I'm saying? Like, hip hop didn't start off with people programming kick snares and hi-hats. It really started off with just loops.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Two records.
Yeah, it just started off with loops, and it wasn't about it wasn't as much about like programming individual sounds as much as it was about your ability to like find the right loop and then the right drums to fit that loop, and to, so in a way it was like executive producing in a sense where it was like, through samples, you're just putting the right people in the room. Right? So you're saying, all right, I want James Brown's drummer with, what's his name? Bob, the guy who made Nautilus. Bob, I can't remember his name, but like this jazz artist piano, or Chick Corea on piano. Bob James. Yeah. Maybe I want Bob James on the melody and James Brown's drummer on the drums. Like, that's what hip hop production was in the beginning. It just wasn't as easily. It wasn't just on a website and you literally just drag. You still had to record it and and program it and make sure it was the proper length.
And that's my thing. Even with that, doing it that way, there still is a bit of personality because you still have to. First off, in that time, however you create the beat, the texture, like the MPC, it gave its own texture and stuff already. Yeah. So I feel like that's part of your personality. Like, you're deciding to record it in through the MPC, which is going to give it a certain texture that you like, versus now you're legit leaving everything up to whoever made this sample pack, and you're just pulling it in.
Well, that's why I feel like there's levels to this. But hold on, I just want to shout out John Genius to God Howard. He said, as lovers of music and sound, sometimes we want to do more than what's needed. There are plenty of tracks I've done that I wanted a certain way, but learned to hear other perspectives. No doubt. Thank you for that, John. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. It's just the love of the craft and make you want to like
do something different.
It makes me sometimes, like I'd say one of the first big lessons I learned in production was how much I was overproducing, right? Just doing too much. Yeah. And I think a lot of times that fits into this conversation as well. Big shout out my man Red on the beat. He just logged in. Salute my brother. You know what I'm saying? We gotta have you on the show, Red. I already told my team. I think you're gonna be the first guest in this junk. We just gotta find the right time to make it happen. Yeah. But like I was saying, I just think it's levels to it. I think you can do all of that. You can just drag samples in. You can just loop, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I also think that like in 2023, when every third person on the block is a producer, like I have no problem with people doing that. I have no problem with, if I'm being honest, whether or not they find it fun or not. Because them doing that just makes me stand out more. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that there are levels to this. I don't think that when you find the mid to top tier level, if you were to go and produce for Beyonce, or if you were to go to anybody in the, I don't know, top tier, whatever right now, you know, I think you're gonna find more people who are trying to stand out with original sounds, original ways of using sounds, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not saying that they don't have the same sources as other people,
of course.
but it's just like they just got to make sure their Cardi B beat is not a beat anybody could have just had before it drops. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna figure that part out. Yeah. And I just feel like at levels, when you're on the bottom level, you're just trying to make something that sounds like it's real. And so, you know, you can drag in a guitar loop and then a drum loop, and it sounds real. And that's the first level of like, oh wow, I'm a real artist. I have real stuff. It's not necessarily even about sticking out as much as it is about like feeling like my stuff sounds real. But the further you go up that you know, that ladder of levels, I think the more it is about this is how I sound.
Right.
And that's when you get more into the originality part.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I guess since that's where I'm at, why I'm looking at that like, bro, that can't be. But I'm also just trying to think if there was ever a moment, even when I first started that I was cool with doing that.
Yeah.
I can honestly say like I've sampling or whatever, I'm always trying to find some way to add me to the beat, you know? That's always been my approach. And like I said, it could be just who my previous mentors or who I was around producing that showed me how to do this. That could be just, you know, one of those hip hop rules or whatever from that era.
But you know what though? But that's, and then, you know, I told you this once before. Like, so many producers, their version of like implementing like what does me sound like, it wasn't in what they did to these samples. It was in what samples they chose.
Right.
So when RZA chose the Cream sample, like I was saying before, that's not a hard to find record. That's not an obscure record from Peru that nobody else has. Right? But it was RZA's ear that said, oh no, that's the part I need to use. Here's who I need to get on it. Method Man, you do the hook. Like, you know.
I think, that's kind of touching into two things I was going to say, which is like, you know, I feel like I've heard you say this before too, is just like a lot of times like stuff be like ridiculously simple in hindsight. Like it'd be like anybody could have did that, but did you think to do it? You know what I'm saying? Like
big shout out my man Calvin Barnes, man. We were having this conversation about basses back in the day at U of M. We were having this conversation about basses, and I'm not gonna say too many names, but I'll just say somebody had brought up a bassist, and they had said that person was as good as my man Mono Neon. Big shout out Mono Neon, right? And my man Calvin said, nah, they not as good as Mono Neon. And so the homie said, man, you talking about, you just saying that because Mono be playing all those people's voices and like, you know, doing all those tricks on Instagram or whatever. And he was like, my man can do that same stuff too. You know what I'm saying? And then Calvin said the realest thing. Calvin said, yeah, he probably can do that. But did he think to do that?
Right.
Mono isn't the greatest because he just technically has, it's the things he thinks to do with his technical skill. It's the creativity factor that makes him, you know, in our eyes, the best. You know?
Yeah, and so it's like, damn, I wouldn't want to be. I know there's a huge part of me that wouldn't want to be able to be looking at somebody like trying to mix my joint and then be like, damn, I got the stamps and then just redo the shit. That would be crazy. But at the same time,
that was wild to you, bro.
At the same time, they're mixing a song that was made like that. It was something I did that inspired another person to write something that didn't exist and to make a song that we're all like now a part of.
Right.
That simple 2-click thing that I did has mobilized all these people now into trying to make this like the best version of it. Like, and I feel like that can't be understated. Even if the process was very basic, like it was the combination of it all, and you did
Nah,
too.
bro, come on, man.
You got,
the crazy collaboration of it. You know what I mean?
No.
he like, nah, they
You said combination.
You gotta
Oh,
say it right.
dang.
What's going on, bro?
What is going
What's
on?
going
y'all?
on, man?
Come on, y'all.
What is
The
going on?
combination of all these things. Of all these things, you know what I'm saying? That mobilized everybody. Now we're sitting here talking about something that didn't exist, right?
Right.
Even though it was like, damn, bro, I could have 2 clicks. That's it. That's all you did. But that's all he did, and now we here. There's a song. There was business made.
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
there was.
yeah.
Now we got topics.
Let me-
Our brands are being like all of that.
Let me throw something in that backpack, fam. Whenever, and this is just for my own ego.
Right.
This is for I'm being honest. This is for my own ego. Whenever I'm sitting there thinking like, bro, this was too simple, right? Or too easy to make, or I don't feel like I did enough, right? Yeah. You know what always makes me feel better? Is knowing I'm not a beat maker. I'm a producer, which means the majority of this work is still left.
Right.
It's not just in the sample or the drums or blah. It's in the arrangement. It's in all the other parts of producing a song, right? Because that's what I'm aiming to do, is produce a song. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And that's why when I go back to Cream, I talk about how, you know what I'm saying, like it was the straightest loop ever. You know what I'm saying? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Straight loop, even the drums is in the loop.
Right.
He did nothing. He literally just set a start and end point in his SP1200
Right.
and let it loop. But he made one of the most iconic songs in rap history.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree. And with that, I feel that completely. And I wasn't in the session, but from what I know, it don't seem like the producers or anything were around to help that process. I don't know how deeply they were involved, or if this was just, like I said, a drag and drop, bet, here you go.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that takes some vision too. Like I'll just speak for myself. Like, you know, I definitely will overproduce some stuff because
Facts.
and part of it is because like a lot of times when I'm starting a beat, I'm not really thinking about making a song with a vocalist.
Gotcha.
Right? But inevitably that's what comes along, right? And, you know, things have to like, and it's just because they heard it, you know what I'm saying? And they'll go and write something, whatever. But like the thing I made without my influence on them, you know what I'm saying? Me in the room still influenced them. You know what I'm saying? It was that combination. And if I were to do that with intention, I probably would make something a lot simpler that would leave more space, which would probably magnify the effect of me not even needing to be in a room for a vision to be, you know, painted for an artist, you know, for a vocal artist to get on it, you know what I'm saying, to get on it. And that takes vision. You know what I'm saying? To know, like, I could just do this, send it to somebody in the space that I left, the textures that I chose, regardless of how I got there, like, can and will inspire somebody.
I partially feel that, but that's but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Partial feelings.
in this situation, like I said again, I wasn't there when the song was created, but I know niggas wasn't around when the song was being mixed or whatever. So I'm not even sure how much of an impact they had on the vision for this song. And like I said, that could just be me, some ego shit. But overall, it's more so.
Well, then
was it
maybe
fun?
they weren't the producer either.
That's
You
a
know-
good one.
you know what I'm saying?
That's okay. No, I think that's a valid point, because if you're an artist and you come up and you have an idea, but you may not know how to put it together, then you are producing the song. And that could have been the case. I don't know, but that's a great point.
Yeah.
But I don't think just to go against it, I don't think that's like majority of producers and beat makers now. Like, I think the drag and click era is why we have so many, 100-pack for $30 type of deal, whatever.
Drag and click era. Man.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not against it. Do what you do, but I'm just for me more so is like, if you love this, is that fun for you? You know, I don't know.
Hey, if y'all out there and y'all do this, let us know if it's fun, fam. You know what I'm saying?
If you love this, then is it fun for you?
Is it fun?
Man, it's hard to say no, man, because I remember, bro, like,
Yeah.
yo, back in the day, y'all don't know about this. Back in the day, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, the cereal, used to have they had like a website called ctcmix.com, and you can go and make beats.
So hold on.
Yo,
you
what?
absolutely right. I don't know nothing about this. Because the fact that cereal. Pick up Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Let's go.
Hey, they should have marketed that more.
Oh no, that's Apple Jacks. Remember that. So anyway,
Don't get it confused, bro.
I was about to do some combinations, but, you know what I mean? But yeah, you could
That's
go
crazy.
up
I didn't
there,
know that.
and they had like just what it would be what you imagine. They got like a bunch of little loops or whatever, and
they
you
was
can
splice before
and
splice,
you could
bro.
put them all together how you want, arrange a song, download it. And I used to burn them just to disc. You know what I'm saying? I had my beat CDs, bro. And like you can only make so many combinations. But I absolutely damn, so many combinations. Yeah, I'm slipping, bro.
Yeah,
There's only so many combinations, but it was, but that was a joy. And like that was when I was a kid, and there's levels. But I don't know. I feel like I was still like. Again, I think more so. I wouldn't want to build a brand off of that right now.
Okay, I was about to say, hold on. If let me challenge that. If you feel like it would be really fun right now, why isn't that most of your beats?
Because I think it's more of like because I've also found more enjoyment in being tactile with it. I found a more personal connection. And I found it's easier to be original when I'm using my body, right? And so it's easier to stand out. And so I'm using that as my preferred method. But if somebody was like, yo, make 10 beats, and I just had to go and find just to put them together, I feel like I'm going to have some fun, like making arrangements, finding these loops, choosing, like, you know what I'm saying? And I would have to resist the urge to change those things, but I think I would still find some enjoyment. I just would feel there would be a part of me that feels guilty because of producer culture, and there would be a part of me that realizes that I'm only setting myself up to be a part of the crowd. But that doesn't mean that like playing a sport everybody else plays isn't fun. Like you gotta be doing some different stuff to stand out in the NBA, but that don't make hooping itself not fun if you're not doing crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'll also admit this too, man. Like I just find peripheral ways. I absolutely do that, John. I mean, most of the stuff I make now, I play myself. But the one thing that if I were just pull up Splice, it's that I'm an engineer. Like my shit is gonna sound way better than yours. Like that's the one thing that I have noticed maybe in the last 10 years. Once all these drum packs and things started to happen, I started to feel like, man, like everybody about to sound the same. No, like. I mean, you might have an ear for production. That doesn't mean you have an ear for engineering, right? Yeah. Not yet, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, I know that, like, me and you are going to download the same drums. It's going to sound better.
It's going to be different, yeah.
You know, like the way I'm going to use it, the way I'm going to hear it, the way I'm going to manipulate it, it's just going to sound better. And so for me, then I just take the professional edge or just the fact that I can make shit sound different. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I'm saying, like, the fact that you are a producer engineer, like you still have that aspect, and that's fun for you because that's the challenge of making these sounds. You're still making them personal, versus just drag and drop and you just shoot it off and letting whoever else mix it. Like I said, from my perspective, from what I've seen, those producers didn't have any input on how it's been mixed. I don't know if they hit you back like, yo, I like this. Can we do something? Like, I don't know that.
Yeah, I think too, like, I think that comes with experience. Like, I feel like, in just like comparison, like, I would imagine that you was enjoying, or a producer would enjoy their productions a lot more before then having to hear their stuff compared to, let's say, Mad Beats. And then you hear the difference, and now now your ears are open to like a difference in sound quality. And now you're listening to your stuff and not enjoying it as much. And now you have a new challenge to overcome. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like the almost on some ignorance is
Yeah,
bliss
yeah.
type vibes. Like, you know, some
I
people
get
don't
it.
have access to a machine or push or MPC or whatever. So like they don't even know the joy they could have by pushing these pads. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that, but and that's the thing. I guess it still, it still comes with age and experience. Like I don't want to feel like I'm singling anyone out, but just in the situations that I've seen, these producers, whatever, they're definitely capable of doing more. So it could just, like I said, my main thing is it fun? Were you having fun when you were making this?
And if I would just give you a short answer to that, I would say yeah.
Yeah.
I would say yeah. I think that people define fun differently, and I know
Yeah.
for me, for the longest time, it was just a results-based thing. I don't think I would have. I think I would still have fun. I just don't think I'd have as much fun, but I would still have fun because I enjoy getting to a result quicker now. So that's fun to me. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, what's still more fun to me is just like me knowing that that something as me as possible.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I think people do have fun doing that. I just think, and I don't think that. I don't think that you have to be limited to enjoy that. Meaning, like when I was doing that, all I had was a mouse and a computer. But even though I have, 2 full studios now, I could still have fun doing that. So I mean, yeah, I think I definitely feel like it can be fun. It's just at some point you just want something different.
I feel that.
So we got Struley in the chat. Struley says, "Do y'all think anyone other than producers really cares about the process, or are they just focused on the final output?" I certainly have my own preference and perspective, but that's coming from a producer's point of view.
No, I think we all play different roles, so we all care about different aspects of it. Because if you're just an artist, you probably don't give a fuck what someone done to the snare to make it sound like you don't care. You just worrying about if it gives you the vibe or puts you in the space that you want it to be in. And if you deliver, your part. So you probably don't care. And as an engineer, you might not care because you might look at that as a challenge too for you to be more creative and do other things. So yeah.
So you're saying, okay, so you're saying you don't think people care as much about the process if they're not a producer?
Yeah, I feel like you more so care about your own part of adding to it.
Okay, so even with this, I would say there's levels to this. So I think to some extent, no. Like I'm just gonna use even before I was a producer. Before I was a producer, to some extent, no, I didn't care about I didn't even know what the process was. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care. When I started to care about the process, even before I was a producer, when I wanted to see if I could trust this person to consistently deliver this. Right? So like I loved DJ Premier and Dilla because I knew how much they cared about the process. Meaning like Gangstar albums and Slum Village albums were always gonna sound a certain way because they really cared.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so a big part of my confidence in buying their products was knowing how much they cared about the product.
But for me, my answer was kind of like a yes and no on some levels vibes. Like to me, when I think of producing and the context, the way of like the most of what we're talking about, to me is really songwriting. Like I view it as it's a songwriting process to me, like a composition thing. And so I think that people care in the same way that we care about whether or not Jay-Z writes his lyrics. Like, I think we would rock with Jay-Z regardless, but having that insight puts a different perspective on how we receive it. You know what I'm saying? Like, or Lil Wayne, you know what I'm saying?
Well, okay. I want you to continue that thought, but I want to add some nuance to it. I think we would rock with Jay-Z now.
That's what I was finna say.
Jay-Z from his era, he
It's
would have
a
never
rap.
made it to this
That's-
era
yep.
if he didn't write his rhyme.
That's-
Now we have a tolerance for that.
Yeah.
In the 90s, absolutely no.
It was- yeah.
Like whole rappers got thrown out the game
Yeah.
for shit
It
like
was,
that.
That's
No. I meant not using the ghostwriter. I mean physically writing.
Ah, okay.
well,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like his writing process
Okay, sure.
was to not write. It was to be in the booth and
got you.
like think it and then
yeah.
spit it or whatever.
Yeah.
And some people, it's like how the ink looks on the page, the various, you know what I'm saying, colors that were used to, and the way it was organized. Like that's a part of when we're exposed to it, how we receive the artist. Not necessarily like if it's just the music first, you know, it speaks for itself.
right.
But once we get exposed, that opens up a new reason to care. So yes and no, if that makes any sense. Or like, you know, just the visual of Eminem having hundreds of notebooks of all these crazy scribbles just helps paint a picture of the mind of what I'm listening to. You know what I'm saying? I would have gotten it and I wouldn't have thought about it, but now that you presented it, it's like, oh damn, this is kind of like a part of the experience.
I just had deja vu. I could have swore you said this before.
Yeah, and that's
Matrix.
that's why I think I lean towards just it just depends on the role that you play, because you can tell when especially with music, you can tell the difference from an artist feel it, like you can tell. But I don't think most people, if you're not in those, unless you're a nerd, you don't really care. Like people that just listen to music just to listen to it, they don't care about the process of how this beat was made, what mic you record. They don't care about that stuff.
And well, I don't know, because
You know-
momentum is a thing. Like if an artist is in the room with you making the beat, like
It's levels to this.
yeah, the process, they might not be like judging the specifics of your process, but the environment that your process creates will affect them.
Oh,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
of course.
Like, you know, and you know, shout out to C Major. Like, got to shout him out because he's a master at like that. You know, you just be having fun watching him. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah,
like,
yeah.
just get a
Absolutely.
bounce going. You know what I'm saying? Or you hear him do a sample and then you don't hear the sample for 5 minutes and he's doing
Come
the
back
drum
in with that shit.
separately.
Yeah.
And then it's all of a sudden there's this big reveal. Like his process.
But, you know, shout out to C Maze, but also I feel like, hey, Doc, you ain't got to do it like that. You just be trying to surprise dudes. You can totally just, you don't have to do it like that, man. C Maze, I'm coming for you, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, nobody's like, damn, why did you warp that sample instead of chopping it and using the tempo? You know what I'm saying? Like, why didn't you do that with the mouse? Like, I don't think people are judging it and caring like that, but they care and don't know they care. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
It matters and they don't know why.
Some caring is subliminal.
Yeah.
Absolutely, subconscious, I should say. Yeah, I mean, I like I said, it's levels to this. Like, I think if you just hear a song and it immediately hits you and you like it, you don't care who made it or how it was made. But I do think a deeper fandom's front door is like understanding that person and their process.
True. Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not just saying about whether you like a song. I'm saying whether or not you subscribe to an artist.
Right. No, that's the difference here.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said there's levels to this. Like, there are levels to enjoying music. There's like, okay, I like this song, and then there's like whatever this person puts out, I'm following them on Spotify. I got it on notifications.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I think when you're thinking like that, you're more aligning yourself with this person, the way they think, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And in that, their process can be very important to a listener. You know, like I think about you know, what you were saying, like even aesthetics, space. You know what I'm saying? Like when I first discovered Smino, you know what I'm saying? I remember being like, oh, this song is dope. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? And then I heard more Smino, and I was like, oh, this song is dope. This is cool. And then I started to be like, yo, whoever this guy's producer is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. And I just remember I went and found him on Instagram, and the first thing I saw is this white ass room with all of these devices so meticulously placed, right? And all of that like became a part of the reason why I just became a huge Monty Booker fan.
Right.
It wasn't just like, you know, how he sounded. It was like the idea of him.
Right.
Then I was like, this dude got a Bandcamp page? This dude got what? And I just started to go and follow, bruh. And it just luckily, he just happened to be starting up a Twitch joint where he was actually showing his process. And then now I'm like, I'm a Monty Booker fan, probably more than I am a Smino fan.
Yeah.
You know.
Now when you listen to a product, it's like, yeah, he was using that giant. I think he was using this giant. You could see it now. You see the whole thing. Now I care a lot, you know. But
I mean, that's coming from us. We're also, you know, nerds about this shit. Like we love this, the music, the process of it, but not everyone does. I've definitely been in spaces where the rapper will come in, the beat's already made. They don't care about who made the beat. They don't care. None of that. I got 16.
they be like, yeah, or you know,
That's it.
They just be in there with the engineer, pull the beat up.
That's it, you know? So, it's, like I said, it's levels.
And like, you know, kind of going back to what we were saying about standing out and there being levels in terms of your process. Like, you know,
Big shout out Zero Fatigue.
we've seen.
Hold on, my bad. I don't want to. Big shout out Struli in the chat, dropping comments, letting it be known. Big shout out my G Quota. What up, homie? I'm glad you tuning in.
Man, what's good?
Big shout out Zero Fatigue. Go ahead, kid.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen firsthand how people will, like, you know, request that a type of beat get remade, right? Yeah, I want remake this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll either, you know, can't clear it or don't want to pay, or you know, it's just easier to work with the person that you're working with, right? So yeah, remake this shit. And so one, the more you get, the harder it is for that to happen to you, right? Which is why I say, like, I would just prefer to build a brand and a sound off of things like
Right.
that can't be easily replicated so easily. But you know, two, that's a part where that process doesn't matter, like, you know, because it's just like, yeah, I'm just trying to get this result.
But here's the thing, and this is what I love about, like, I feel like now if you're trying to have a sustaining career as a producer, right? Like, you have to equally, not secondarily, you have to equally build brand as you build sound, right? Because here's the thing. If, you know, Pharrell definitely has his own sound, right? But if Pharrell went to Splice and just dragged and dropped something, 2 files, and made a beat out of it, it's still gonna be nothing like what everybody. Not because of what he's gonna do to it or his style, blah blah. No, it's the fact it's gonna be different because it's gonna say produced by Pharrell. There's a brand and an idea associated with it immediately, making something anybody could have made much more valuable simply because he did the dragging and dropping, right? And so brand made something unoriginal, similar to what Pharrell did with that damn 4. Niggas been doing that for thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden it's a Pharrell thing? Bro. It's because he built his brand. I hate it for life. I hate it.
It's so funny too, because like,
No, that's
it's whole like platforms like, yo, the four count breakdown. Like, people is
come on.
building
They
their brands
associate,
off of explaining this man's genius for doing his the most simple, like, everybody has done this in their life tag.
But,
1, 2,
because he
3,
got the brand.
4, and then this man just
Dang, nah,
Now all of a sudden that's his joint. Come on, bro.
I mean,
Come on, bro.
that's the epitome.
It was
of,
people who were writing the Bible that was doing that.
That's the
fam.
epitome of everybody can do it, but did you think to do it? That's the epitome of that.
yeah, but
Come on, bro.
even with that, I think the brand it allows space for, you know, less judgment or whatever. But to the core of what we're talking about, I will wonder and I will question for real: did you enjoy making that?
Sure. I think what Pharrell's gonna say is, I enjoyed that it was easy to make that, and that it will be deemed original because of my life.
Crazy.
Yeah, he would just be,
That's
I am
it.
blessed. Ideas don't come from me, they come through me.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And
what?
I am
My man Quota got a question. Hold on. My man Steven Todd says, finna unapologetically rip some samples. Shout out, you know what I'm saying? When you do, send the link through. We gonna check them out.
Yo, send it to Underground AF.
Yeah, that's facts. Send it to Underground AF.
Hey,
man.
yeah, man.
Mid-session shout out, Underground AF. Send your unmixed, unmastered tracks to the Unapologetic World app. If you do, you will be invited to something very special at the end of the season. And it's just good promo, man. We got a whole bunch of downloads and listeners in our app, so you should definitely go and send it, man. Big shout out to my man Quota. He says, "What about artists who want a custom beat made but want too many elements that don't make sense together?" What's going on? I don't think I even understand it.
For real talk, on some like producer tricks of the trade type vibes. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I have so much to continue to learn. But if there's one thing that I feel like I have picked up in my time of working with artists, is that when artists have ideas that you don't think will work, try them and let them hear them not work.
No, that's it. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because two things will happen. Either they'll hear it and be like, all right, dang. You know what I'm saying? And then you can use that opportunity where they're more open to suggest, yeah, maybe we should just try this, I think. And now they're more open to receive it because they've been able to try their own ideas and get their own creative expression out. And now and they trust you to value their ideas instead of shutting them down. And then the second thing that could happen is their idea might actually be dope and you just didn't have the vision. You know what I'm saying? And now you've gone to a place that you wouldn't have gone normally and, you know, it's dope. So
I've definitely dealt with both of those situations. Well, I've never just shut anyone's idea down because I'm always, if you're in a room, like, I value your opinion and your idea, especially if you come to me as an artist and want me to produce for you. So, of course, I'm going to value your opinion. But like you said, I will definitely be like, even if I don't agree with it, let's test it out. Because there's been moments where I'm like, they telling me something, I'm thinking like, bro, this is going to be trash. You know, but I try it out like, oh, okay, that's dope. Or it is trash, and I find a way within there like, okay, let's rework your idea.
Yeah.
You know?
And then over time, that helps build a trust. So where if you just know, if you know, you can suggest it and they trust you, and then don't be like a creative issue, like a problem between y'all.
When I first got started here as a producer engineer, the number one thing artists told me was that when they go to other producers in this city, how controlling other producer engineers were. Meaning how you walk in and they're immediately ascribing to you what they think you should do, sound like, your image, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'll never forget, like maybe the second or the third session I had with Cameron. Cameron was like, I get to try out everything. I've never been able to try out everything. I was like, yeah, because we digging. We gonna find something.
Bro, that's it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. Like, that's, but I mean, just to, you know, and for a lot of that, you were there. You saw it happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's not just about digging and finding as much as it is about somebody feeling confident that this is a space of exploration. That's what studios should be. They should be spaces for exploration. Outer spaces for exploration. Shameless, you feel me?
Yeah, you know,
Facts.
Absolutely. And so, you know, so there's a level of patience necessary. But like, even if you do feel like it's gonna be different, or you feel like it's not gonna work, like, I don't know, man. Like, I'll be honest, like my ego isn't so big to where, like, I'd be excited to find shit I wouldn't have thought of. That's why I love working with other producers too, because they're gonna think of things I didn't think of. You know what I'm saying? And then it's not even about me learning to do that. It's the fun I get bouncing off of that.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you do something with a lead synth that I wouldn't have did, and I'd be like, oh, now I get to figure out what kind of chords go with that. It wouldn't have been what I would have did. So now I got to think differently on the chords, and I get excited about that. You know what I'm saying?
Same. Yeah, there's definitely some ego when you deny someone's idea, especially if they're in the room with you. Like, why do you have them here if you're not going to value them? Yeah, there's definitely some ego stuff.
Yeah. I just remember being like, wow, like I'm the only person, you know what I'm saying?
Bro.
'Cause people, I mean, I don't think I was the only person, but people would come to me like I was. Like I was the only place you could get a professional recording and just try whatever. Anywhere else you went, somebody was gonna be directing you.
Yep.
You know.
I definitely think it's weird how rare that is because I get that a lot, especially now I've built a relationship with a lot of artists that I work with, like where they do trust me and they trust that I will value their ideas, and like I've had a few of them tell me like being in even mainstream, studios or whatever, and they come in there and like they feel like basically they're just part of the session. They're not like contributing, so to speak. They're just there to do a job versus creating. Yeah.
How can you work with artists if you don't let them be
That's
artists?
bro.
That's it, man. Man, bro.
But that's what happens with the.
But bro,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get to my man Quota. My man Quota got a question, but I'm gonna say this, man. Like when I first came back to this place, the number one thing that I noticed early, because I'm coming back from New York.
Right.
I'm coming back from Manhattan, the mecca of all things music and entertainment. Like there's more studios there and more everything there. It's New York. And branding was everything. Everybody understood that. Everybody understood like you're not a guy who plays guitar. You're like if you're just a guy who plays a guitar, you're a guy skilled at guitar. You're not an artist.
Yeah.
You need a brand.
difference.
You need an idea, right? And that was everybody knew that in New York. When I came back down here, it's like somebody like the internet hadn't happened here yet. In other words, like information didn't travel, it didn't reach this place yet. Because what I found was like every place or every whether it be schools or whatever, everything was making people who could sell a product, right? And so they're like this idea of branding and marketing and a certain level of presentation and professionalism and leaning in extreme ways to represent your ideas. It was like a foreign concept. I would talk about it and people would swear they didn't know what I was even talking about. It was a wild time. Now this place is caught up a lot. But back then, of course, right? Because people didn't even, I could understand why producers felt the need to do that. And then I could also understand why young artists would respond to producers feeling the way, because there was just a lack of information or idea about what it took to be an artist. A part of being an artist, sadly, is fighting to be yourself, right? Like, and so when you get to these rooms with these producers, well, first of all, you got to choose the right one. Second of all, like, if you're making a song and you didn't get your ideas out, how do you even finish the song?
Bro, what?
You leave. Like,
man, quick.
You demand more from your producer because you're an artist, right? I don't like how that didn't exist was wild to me. In New York, artists would come into the studio and demand what microphone, what preamp, what compressor. They came in making demands like, dude, if you don't give me what I want, I'm out. I'm an artist. It's got to sound like me.
Because they got a brand to represent.
Right. Down here, it was just like, please tell me.
Yeah,
I
found.
what?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's, and I've definitely dealt with a lot of artists that, like you said, they don't have a brand, so they don't have the idea of what these songs should sound like. They don't necessarily have a vision for it, and that's why I found like even with producers that will send loops of a beat or whatever, they don't. And I'm the one, I will hit up the producers. If I'm working on your, mixing something, I will hit you up and be like, yo, do you have any, a vision for this? Do you want to hit this a certain way? Do you have, what's your ideas? Have you listened to the song, whatever? Because I don't, it shouldn't just be me. It shouldn't just be me. I don't want it to just be me. Of course, I can easily produce the whole song and arrange whatever, but like, this is your song.
Right.
I want you to have a say-so in all of this, throughout the process. But a lot of even producers, I remember reaching out to a few of them, and they were surprised. Like
that's the thing is, I feel like one thing I've run into here more than any other place. It was so I don't want to just villainize producers in this scenario or the producers who used to be here in this scenario, because on the other side of it, man, it took me a while to find artists who felt like leaders of their own career.
Nah, that's a fact.
Like it was like them seeking a producer. It looked like they were looking for a leader for their career.
Bro, it's so backwards.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there thinking like, no, like my job is for, first of all, you need to know where you want to go and who you are.
Yeah.
My job is to potentially provide a car or gasoline or to put you in contact with somebody who can get you to where you want to go,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
But if we don't get to where you want to go, it's because you didn't know where you wanted to go.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's, you got to be the leader of your career. Your name gonna be on the front of the album, not mine.
Bro, I tell people that all the time. When people look, you're the one gonna be performing this.
Yeah.
So even no matter how I personally feel about this song or whatever, I definitely want to make sure you're completely satisfied with this because you're gonna be the one representing this. Like I'm not gonna be the one touring, be on stage. Like that's not gonna be me. Especially if I didn't produce it. Like if I'm just engineering, like yeah, there's parts that I'm gonna add that's me and let you people know, like okay, LJ he must have mixed this or whatever. Yeah. But like this is your vision. This is your baby.
Absolutely.
You have to know what you want it to look like, sound like, or whatever.
And you know, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna get to this real quick. If you want a higher level of I Make Mad Beats involvement, right? That's what me having a label is for. Like you hiring me over here is one thing, right? If you want me to produce and coach you throughout your career, you're looking for somebody at a label. Yeah. Right. You're looking for somebody with a higher level, or maybe not even a label, but a higher level of agreement. Like you're looking for somebody to build a career with, right? That's not paying me whatever amount of money to produce a song. There's a difference.
Man,
there's a huge difference.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah, and that's a different level of agreement. That's a different level of, okay, what happens after we do this?
Yep.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Conversation.
That's a way different conversation.
What is the scale or the level of an artist, right? How much of a vision for their career, or how far of a vision, or how complete of a vision do you feel like you need to have, or an artist needs to have before you feel comfortable as a producer working with them?
It's a great question. Real quick, big shout out Sonny in the chat. Big shout out Quota. Quota's had a question earlier. He asked, have y'all ever had an artist who was difficult to work with? Absolutely. Yeah. I need a more specific question. Big shout out Quota, but I need a much more specific because I could tell you 6,000. You know what I'm saying? On that one. We got my man Local on the YouTube chats. He says, man, I wanna make music, but I don't know how or where to start. I don't even know music theory, bro. I didn't know music theory most of my career.
I'm learning that anymore.
I know this sounds so amateur, but I don't know where to start. Looking for tutorials isn't doing much for me. I keep producing. Well, I'll say this, man. I mean, you chiming in on YouTube and you listening to us on YouTube. There's a whole bunch of other people you can listen to on YouTube as well. And what I would suggest is this: if tutorials don't work for you, try actually doing what the tutorials say. Yeah. Right. And then don't even watch no more tutorials. Just do it.
Go for it.
Just do it. Literally just do it over and over again. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to fail, sound like trash for 100 times, 200 times. I didn't make a beat I liked until 463 beats. You got to be obsessed with this shit.
Nah, facts.
That's
I think,
it.
And that's an easier way to find your sound when you just do it. Because when you start, when you first start and you're looking at tutorials or whatever, you're imitating whatever they're showing you. Like versus you just doing what you do, even if you don't know.
Yep. Even if you don't know. If you just do it, you will get there. Big shout out Local. He said thank you. All love and respect. What was your question again, man?
My question was, well, before I do it, I just want to chime in on that. Just like when you're doing it, like tutorials, I feel like a lot of times don't work because like the information, like you're not the person, you're not at a level to receive the information typically given. Like a lot of times you got to do the thing before you know the questions to ask. And then you know the questions to ask. And then you can ask more specific questions to find the specific tutorials you need for that moment. And then move from there. So it sounds very like, you don't know where specific. Right. And then you can ask that specific question. And that's going to lead you to the next lane of or level of information and your ability. Yeah, that's what I would say. But my question was...
By the way, I got started with this when tutorials didn't exist, so go ahead.
It's crazy.
I just had to figure that shit out. That was it.
But yeah, my question was, what level of, how much of a vision does an artist, or do you feel like an artist should have for their career or for their sound before you feel like you want to invest your time into working with them?
It depends on. Well, first and foremost, man, like I built a whole company using this question. No artist that I brought in knew their vision outright when I brought them in. What I'd be looking for is their ability to do what's necessary to find it. That's what I'm looking for. I never look for how smart people are. I look for how willing they are to learn. Right? I'm a big fan of not where you are, but where you started versus where you are, your trajectory.
Yeah.
Right? I'm also curious as to how well artists respond to questions or stimuli that'll help them find out what their vision is. Meaning if they're immediately defensive, if they're afraid to try things out, if they're afraid to be vulnerable, these are all things that are gonna keep you from that deeper level vision. And then that might be a reason you get dismissed by I Make Mad Beats.
What about you?
I mean, I definitely agree with that. And I think a part of it for me, like you said, it's about wanting to learn and grow. But even outside that, especially if you don't have a vision for yourself, do I enjoy the music we make or do I enjoy you as a person? Because if I'm going to invest that time, I have to at least be able to, build some type of relationship with you to where I'm okay with being in a room with you for X amount of hours. Because even if you have the vision, but in my mind you're a terrible person, your character's trash or whatever, like I can't build with you.
Look at it with a shirt.
No, I'm just saying I can't build with you.
Like song, but you real terrible. You a
No,
terrible
that's
person.
real. Like I've been fans of people, but like as a person themselves, I can't rock with them.
Character over everything.
I might buy your music because like I enjoy what you make, but it just won't be me involved making it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just depends. Like it's great for you to have a vision and have an idea, but it's also too, even if you have a vision and idea, how much are you willing to, I guess, redirect or whatever if that vision, if that plan that you have is not necessarily working for you? How long have you had this vision? How far are you into this vision? Like what have you tried already? Like all these things matter for me. Anyway, but I think overall it comes down to if I enjoy the music and do I enjoy you as a person.
So an artist, like, they know, okay, yeah, I know I want to perform, you know what I'm saying? I know I like these kinds of records, whatever. All right, so their vision is not developed.
Right.
But they clearly have something special, right? And you're interested in them. But you have a vision for them, right? You see, oh man, see you doing this and making this kind of music, whatever, right? When you start to work with this person, what is your thought process on implementing your vision, the vision that you see with them, or presenting your vision for them? Do you even do that, or do you just more so like, nah, you got to find your own situation, I'm gonna follow you, or do you lead with your vision? So present it. Like, what do you guys' thoughts on that?
For me, I think again it depends on what we're going for. Because even in this case, I feel like when you're building with someone, it's automatic. Like it's going to happen that your idea is going to bleed into the vision somehow because y'all spend so much time together. Y'all are building something together. Like because a lot of artists, when they have their vision, they have their vision. It doesn't include everyone else. But if I'm going to spend this amount of time with you, you have to allow this, just like I'm allowing you the space to be an artist and be creative, you have to do the same for me. Because I'm trying to not just provide a service, but I'm trying to know who you are. And I feel like if this is going to work, it kind of has to go both ways. Because if I'm definitely going to sacrifice whatever I'm doing to give you all of this time, like we have to come to a common ground. Like it can't just be all about you. Right. And that again goes to, like I was saying, if you a trash person and you can't see outside of yourself, we're not going to work. Because if I'm going to sacrifice my days, my weeks, whatever, how many hours I'm giving you, and you telling me like it's just about then if that's the situation, then you're going to pay a certain fee for that. You're going to if I have to just be like on some, all right, well this is just a job, you're gonna pay something crazy. That's just real because I'm an artist, I'm a creative, I enjoy this. I don't want any of my situations to be like it's a job.
Right.
You know, so if you truly want me, then this is what it's going to cost. Yeah. But if we're truly like just building, then I feel like there's going to be a space where our visions will blend together. Like because we're creating something different, we're creating something new. So you have to be open to accepting that vision, or to alter that vision some, because my personality is going to bleed out into whatever we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I already answered this question. But, I mean, you've actually been there when I was doing this. So.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how much, you know, for me, it's just about seeing if you tied your shoes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, first and foremost, like, I was just telling my wife this morning how, like, you know, like I feel like a big part of me delivering information is my ability to assess how that information will land on that person, right? So I take a little bit more responsibility than just to deliver information. I also try to synthesize, is this person ready for that information, right? And I give myself that power because I've literally graced thousands of artists all across the world, and there are patterns to who is more ready to be led and who isn't, right? And so I usually try to see, before I step in and try to lead anyone, if this person is ready to be led, if this person would be, if they deal with levels of insecurity, if they would be threatened by being led, if they would be triggered by being led. That's first and foremost. You know, that's level number one. Level number two is just, what is their trajectory, right? Like how well does somebody get information and convert? Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know, if you do push-ups like this, you'll be able to do push-ups fast. Like, the next 5 times I do push-ups, how many times did they choose to do push-ups the right way? Right. Are they saying, I like the way I do it better, even though they never tried it? You find ways to trip people up outside of what, because people will try to tell you what they think you want to hear, right? And so I'll just do it in other ways and be like, hey man, you ever had this kind of chicken? Nah. Do you eat chicken? Yeah. You want to try it? Nah. I mean, that was a terrible example, but y'all get the point I'm making. Yeah. The point I'm making is just that, like, how, if it wasn't your original idea on how you want to do it, how likely are you to at least try to convert potential opportunities around you, different perspectives, to better yourself? There are ways to assess that in people, right? And so in the second level for me is to determine that. Is to determine, okay, if you surround this person with vibranium, will they build Wakanda, or will they just still be looking for gold? Because they were told to look for gold. Right.
Yeah.
Will you use the vibranium or you look for gold? That was a good analogy.
Yeah,
I fuck with that. Dope. Yeah.
How you feel about it?
Yeah, I think that I'm in line with both of you guys. I think in general, like, my philosophy on working with people is that the combination of me and whoever else, you know what I'm saying, or however many other people, should be making something different than what we would or could make alone, right? Yep. So, and I feel like as long as we come to an agreement on that, then that provides a little bit more freedom and a reason to explore a specific part of the the combination of an artist.
You need that on the
You know
button.
what I'm saying? That I resonate with, or that I see, and that they see in me. Right. Which is why I think it's good for artists, vocalists, to work with other producers, and producers to work with other artists.
Hold on, real quick. You said the volume is mad low for me. Mad at the moment. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I think you should work with multiple people to be able to, because I mean, you know, you look at Timbaland and Aaliyah, for example, right? They had an amazing, like, combination, right? An amazing situation that brought out a lot of what we love in Aaliyah. But, you know, rest in peace. If she was still living, you know, if she had worked with Pharrell, that would have been a totally different kind of situation. The Justin Timberlake that, you know, shout out to NSYNC, but, you know, what grew him to fame was that Justified album. And he worked with two different, you know, producer camps that brought out this world of difference, you know, that we was able to explore. And so I think that when it comes to producer and artist, our relationship should be very, very specific. And that gives freedom to kind of like hyper focus on a piece of an artist's vision for themselves.
Right. Yeah.
And without the pressure of feeling like this isn't me or this isn't everything I'm trying to do. Right. So it's almost like I think of things more project based than like large scale, like in totality, because I feel like to get the totality of something, you have to have variety. You have to be exposed to different scenarios, different environments. So I try not to put the pressure on being like, yo, this has to be who you are. It just has to be a piece of who you are that gets awakened by working with me, you know, or expressed by working with me.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think at the end of the day, man, if you just gotta, I just look at it like this, like, and it just, and honestly, it depends. It's not the same in every session, but, you know, I have to choose, like, whether, am I building a song or am I building an artist?
Right. Yeah.
You know, like, if I'm building an artist, everything you said applies. If I'm building a song, not everything you said applies, right? If I'm here to provide a service and not necessarily being a visionary to that extent,
Right.
well, then I'm just here to provide the service. I'm just going to trust in you because I don't know everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm here to make the kick and snare snap and
That's it.
make sure we good. And I'm going to deliver you a product and I'm going to go on about my life. You're going to go about your life. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm here, if the purpose is a relationship to build an artist, well, then all of that applies.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we are right at the mark to begin listening to Underground AF. I think what's in there is, I think it's Unapologetic Week.
Yeah, I believe so.
You wanna control that, kid?
Yes.
Big shout out everybody listening, everybody who's tuned in. Quota Timbo said Missy was hard to work with. That's because they was two visionaries. That's why. I could totally see that because Missy wasn't, whatever you wanted. Nah, Missy was a G. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I knew what you meant, Steven. I was like, C Mage ain't in this job, so you must be talking about this other guy. Big shout out Jarif, you know what I'm saying, for sure. Shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody chiming in. Again, man, if you don't have the Unapologetic World app, I don't understand what is going on, family. What we got to do. It's available for iOS and Android devices, and it is free, and it don't take up much memory. You know what I mean? You ain't got to delete all the other apps to get it. Go and get the app, man. You know what I'm saying? In it, you're going to find a whole bunch of crazy shit. You're going to find way more about us than I will ever say on this podcast. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole bunch of music in there, not just by us, but by a whole bunch of different artists across the world in the form of Underground AF Radio, where we have a playlist dedicated to unfinished, unmixed, and unmastered music. It's what I deem the new underground, right? Back when underground wasn't pretty, and back when it was just rough sounding, man. And, you know, everybody's got a whole bunch of stuff on their hard drives now, songs that nobody will ever hear. Why is that? I think people should hear this stuff, man. And they should hear it in Underground AF Radio. It's right in our app, man. Go and download that. You about to
it's
get it
free.
now? Big
Yeah,
shout out
we
Poda,
are.
man. Get this man
Let's
a drink,
go.
bro.
Let's go.
He about to get the app. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. You are
Get this
blessed.
man a drink, bro. Y'all getting him a drink? You sit. Go get him man a drink, bro.
Well, I'll pull up on
Hey,
I know
we
Quota,
pulling
so
up. You know Quota?
yeah,
All right, pull up on him with the drink, bro, with a gold brew. Big shout out Coffee Black.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's go. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Indeed.
Okay.
You locked into the
Yeah, I'm
okay,
in
the
here.
Bluetooth. Okay, bet. Let me turn this up. Oh, damn, let me turn this down.
So let's see. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really Good Lord, produced by LJ1S Productions.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me make sure we got test 1 2 test. How am I hearing this? I don't even know how I'm hearing this. What? How is this passing through? Oh, it's on monitor. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Okay, cool.
Bet. So what is this Good Lord? I see produced by LJ.
Man, it was
Frankster.
something we were. Well, everyone was in Nashville. Me and Frankie was here. Of course, she was learning stuff, and we were just talking about like things that she wanted to learn, or just in the creative spaces of like making a beat or whatever. So I'm like, all right, let's cook up something. Let's see what happens. And we just started creating, and she started writing, and that's what happened.
Okay. Let's get it. Hold on, let me start it over because the volume's down.
Wheelie back selector.
All right, the combination of intern Lord and intern.
Good Lord, I'm so fucking bored. Bitches think they wanna try me, but they ain't know my lore. I'm sure they haven't seen this shit before. Tails between their legs, I've got 'em pissing on the floor. Good Lord, what you staring for? That look up on your face says you ain't feeling me no more. Good Lord, don't fight it anymore. Your dirty looks are nothing next to what I got in store. Under their thumb, my strength was born. I'm pushing forwards through the storm. I lost some battles, won the war. Now they can't stop me. I'm full force, and I'm busting down your door. They say they've had enough, but I'm so hungry. I want more. Good Lord, unstable to my core. Watch your step with me, I'll give you what you're fishing for. Oh, they're coming back for more. Seems they didn't learn that I'm the best they got in store. Good Lord, protagonist is always scorned. Claimed they couldn't stand me, now they're watching me like porn. Good Lord.
Man. Yeah. Go.
Under their thumb, my strength was born. I'm pushing forwards through the storm. I lost some battles, won the war. Now they can't stop me. I'm full force.
I sit on that.
Somebody in the comments, Quota said, "Is that Lana Del Rey?" Man.
Hey, Frankie got a sound like it was interesting because like the stuff that she was playing with, like that she's inspired by, I've never heard, but it was crazy. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, let's see what's up. I definitely can see me and Frankie making some other stuff. Yeah, it was fun.
Ty Buckets just hit me up in the app. By the way, man, in the app, we got messaging, you know what I'm saying? So you can actually hit me up directly
Let's get it.
in the app. And that's, if you hit me up there, I'm definitely responding. What up, G? Ty Buckets, what up?
Yeah, man. So it was fun. It was fun.
That was amazing. Big shout out Frankie. Frankie's an intern here, producer, engineer, intern, but she's also She is an artist, and she's a really dope artist. I've got a chance to work with her a couple times. Every time she's in the room when we working on something, she's always got some cool insights. So.
Frankie's pretty cool.
By the way, you intern with Unapologetic. This is the kind of stuff that happens. You end up making random songs in the studio, having fun, learning crazy stuff.
That's it.
Indeed.
Yeah, man.
All right. Yeah, I fuck with that junk. I fuck with it because Frankie is dope, and I know I gotta hear her backstory. I know she comes from like some G back.
Man, yeah.
What?
Frankie real. Frankie.
I haven't heard. I don't think I was in the lab when she told everybody, but
Fair.
at the same time, like she is a very small framed person, and so like just to hear these like G statements it's like okay, there's clearly something here. So yeah, I'm curious for more. All right, any mini miny mo touch a tiger by its toe. If he hollers, let him
What?
go.
You still
Any
know this?
mini miny mo.
That's
My
crazy.
dad told me to pick the best. I make mad beats. Underground AF submission,
let's
and
go.
this one is it. So it looks like we will be doing the first of 3, which is the pedals joint.
All right.
You want to talk about this joint, or we just hitting play?
Pedals?
Yeah.
Yeah, pedals. Pedals. It all came from like this reggae sample that I found. And then like halfway through the beat, I just muted it. And then the rest of the beats still sounded good. So I just kind of let it live. But it was also like right on the verge, right after like truly dissecting like the kinds of chords Pharrell uses. And so I just kind of took that in my own direction. I eventually got Cameron on there to do some vocals and had some fun.
All right, let's get it.
About 5 or 6 years old, I think. Maybe 6 or 7.
Oof.
I think it just loops. You can chill. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Almost every sound in that, with the exception of the percussion, was on this SV1 keyboard. Yeah.
Dang.
The clav, the piano, the all that shit was out the SV1.
Bro, I'm trying to like. Now I've heard this quite a few times, but I'm trying to figure out like. I really want to hear the version with the sample in it, cause like what? What was this?
I don't know.
Like,
I still got it. I pull up Pro Tools. Yeah, it was a reggae sample. So the original title for this beat was Reggae Junk. And then once I took it out, I was like, this is not gonna make sense to nobody. It's not regular. So I just gave it a new name.
The O'Reilly.
I don't know what part. For the Irish joke,
Right.
That's why that's hilarious. Man.
Yeah, that joint was hard, bro. It's you know, I guess it's you, but that joint barely sound underground AF though. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, nah, that's unmixed. I just start from a different place.
That's it.
All right, let's see what we got in here. Oh, we got an Aaron James joint. It's called "She Flew."
To me,
I can speak a little bit on this because we did this while we were still in college.
That's dope.
Yeah, I was recording him, and I feel like we recorded. I can't remember where everything was. I feel like we recorded some of it at Dirty Socks, and we might have recorded some of it at the Stove, which does not exist anymore. But all I know is I remember we recorded this guitar, and I was so fascinated because we put Devil Lock on it, and it was just like it was like just a really unique sound. And so yeah, we was messing with this, and it just kind of.
Is that like the beginning of like exploring sound toys, or had you had it before?
It had to have been the beginning because I was like Devil Lock was my favorite thing that they had. This was over Microchip too, like.
That's
Devil
tough.
Lock was like I was obsessed.
I've never seen someone more obsessed with distortion and saturation than you ever. So it makes perfect sense that you were on Devil Lock for sure.
Yeah, Devil Lock is crazy, but yeah. All right, yeah. So this is She Flew. We did this, I don't know, maybe 2017 or something.
She flew to me after I did a show. She was your girl, no more.
It's
Oh,
That's fine.
that man every day, man. That man just took one of y'all girls right bro. You shouldn't have had her in the room listening. Now it's over.
Yeah, that's we need to get is that yeah, I was just gonna say like that needs to be out. Like that's great. Yeah, that's fine.
It's on the app right now.
It's on the app, you know what I mean?
You feel me?
He's not going to just stream it in the app.
She just goes.
So I can have it permanently.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Well,
Isn't it?
It's still going to be saving.
Yeah, if you hit favorite. Hit favorite in the app.
You know what I'm saying? No piracy, you know what I mean? Just play it in the app.
Yeah, man.
That's
play
dope.
it in the app,
That's
bro.
dope.
All
We
right,
got
so
piracy inside the company. Damn, that's crazy. It's on a hard drive over there. Right? We still doing it on the low. Like,
or ask every day. No.
Nah, I got it. Don't worry about it. So,
All right, y'all.
Oh man.
Okay, so we got, let's say we could do one more.
yeah, let's do one more.
All right, so this one's tough. So, Sheena, so you can stay on the app. You could just pick this next one. You know what I mean? Okay, you on the app. Okay, cool.
She was like, I was already starting. Like,
No, I'm not down with the album. That was the song we're trying to dance. Or I favorited it.
Okay. He wants you to choose a song to play.
Oh.
Small World, Big Dreams.
That's good.
All right. It shall be gotten. Shall be gat.
Hold on, real quick. Coda, if you drop something in there, that's cool. It might end up on next week's playlist, and then we'll check it out then for sure.
facts. Yeah.
So
You
off-
I was just
It's so off and down already.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Are you?
Answer the question in the chat.
Right. If you feel like it was talking to you, answer the question.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
So exhausted, I'm at a loss of mind. Fuck all the people around me, keep me at that bullshit. You and I ain't no fan of drama. Bro, we ain't Smokey and Craig. Your battles is your battles, man. I'm fighting through my own conscience. I struggle getting ahead, bitch. I'm abused with all the traumas of my father and my mama. And I can't put them to bed. I won't be here for long. I won't be here for long. I won't be here for long. I'm very self-aware. One day you here and then you gone. I spend the time that I got left and shit making these songs. It's like the world pissed away its common sense. If God pressed the commode, deep in the darkness we go. I should've prayed more intense. Why y'all be doing the most? Just for the clout and the hoes. You even flipping on your friends. The roll is my girl, cause she be sticking around whether I lose or I win. She keep me up out the bed. I won't be here for long. I won't be here for long. I won't be here for long. I'm very self-aware. One day you here and then you gone. I spend the time that I got left and shit making these songs.
That's awesome than a mother loving.
Shout out to Off from C Major. Small World, Big Dreams. He won't be here for long. So he says.
It's tough. It's all good though.
Yo, when y'all go in there, peep the artwork too. I'm pretty sure he made that himself. This is kind of hard.
Big bet.
All right, well.
Well, on that note, that was Underground AF Radio. Big shout out to the whole Underground AF team. Big shout out Zero, Nikita, Ariel, and Frankie for holding it down and continuing the path of the Underground AF world. Like I said, if you have not submitted, you should submit. I promise you at the end of this rainbow is a pot of gold. Have Have y'all ever seen a leprechaun? If y'all want to see it, say yeah. Anyway, I can laugh at that forever, bro. This has been, you trying to say something?
No.
All right. This has been Type Beat. It's your man, I Make Mad Beats. To my right is
Kid Maestro.
Yo,
You know what it is.
Oh, damn.
yeah, who else?
LJ with us. Let's go.
For sure. And over here we got on the
Sheena.
okay. Big shout out, man. This has been Type Beat. Tune in every Monday around the time that we go live, man. I did not say actual time. Just be around. It's actually around noon CST for my people in and around the streets. And yeah, and if you want to throw us a topic or you want to be a guest or something like that, yeah, feel free to shoot us a message. We'll respond.
Shoot us a message in the app.
And the Unapologetic World app, you feel me? Available for iOS and Android devices, and it is free. Y'all have a good night.
Good evening.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.